Rocket League is nearing its 10th anniversary and remains one of my all-time favorite games. Its feel and gameplay loop are unmatched, and even though it feels like the game is dying, I still come back to it season after season. I'm not an SSL, but a lowly Champ 3, ready to grind his teeth and get the illustrious GC title card at the start of each new season. Everyone in the community knows that playing Rocket League on PC is the best way to play the game. You can tweak your video settings, play at higher frame rates, and get access to the wealth of resources that the Bakkesmod extension provides. One of many examples is you can equip any item you want without having to purchase them from the controversial item shop. For most players, this allows you to equip the beautiful and unobtainable Gold Rush Alpha Boost. But PCs can cost an upwards of $1,000, while a console like the PS5 or Xbox Series X is only half of that. In the last couple years, handheld PCs have entered the scene. These handhelds are for all intents and purposes a gaming laptop with controllers welded on its sides. Some of the biggest tech reviewers on YouTube love using Rocket League as a way to showcase the capabilities of these new PC handhelds. I'm not going to pretend that these handhelds will match the performance of a desktop PC, but rather, can these handhelds play Rocket League well enough to make you competitive at half the price? Currently, the most popular option are the Steam Deck, Asus ROG Ally, and the Lenovo Legion Go. In this video, I'll be focusing strictly on the Steam Deck LCD and the ROG Ally Z1 Extreme. The Steam Deck LCD is available directly from Valve, starting at $399, while the ROG Ally Z1 Extreme is priced at $650 brand new from Best Buy. However, this device frequently goes on sale, and you can even snag an open box option for around $450. For this review, I won't be covering the new ROG Ally X or Lenovo Legion Go. These devices cost around $750 to $800, and at that price point, most people agree you're better off purchasing a gaming laptop, which includes built-in peripherals, and you have access to a discrete GPU. For this test, these are my parameters. I'll be testing gameplay on both devices in handheld and docked mode. For the docked mode, I'll be using a PS5 DualSense controller, and the focus will be on overall performance, including resolution, frame rates, and latency. Finally, I'll play 5 competitive 1v1 games on each device and share my win-loss ratio at the end of the video. These competitive games will be played in docked mode. I've added chapters for each device, so feel free to skip around, grab a snack or a beverage, and let's get into it. The Steam Deck. This device is what kickstarted my journey into PC gaming. When I watched the initial reviews back in 2022 from the top tech YouTube channels, most of them showed the Steam Deck playing Rocket League flawlessly. This is what got me to place my pre-order at the time. What I also loved hearing about the Steam Deck was that Valve was trying to bring the quality of life of a plug-and-play gaming console with the versatility of a PC. In the pursuit of that goal, the Steam Deck uses its own operating system called SteamOS, which is based off Linux rather than a Windows operating system. What's cool about SteamOS is that even though the majority of games are designed for Windows, SteamOS uses a translation layer called Proton to translate Windows files and allows you to play them as if they're native. The caveat is that the games must be purchased from the Steam launcher. Sadly for me, these reviewers did not mention that they were playing the Steam version of Rocket League, which regrettably has been delisted since 2020. For some, this might seem obvious, but I can imagine I wasn't the only one who looked at these reviews and was utterly disappointed when I booted my brand new Steam Deck and I couldn't just download Rocket League and play. Unless you have an extra $500 to spend on a Rocket League Steam CD key, you will not be able to play Rocket League on a Steam Deck unless you download the Heroic Launcher. The Heroic Launcher is an Epic Games launcher for non-Windows operating systems, like Linux and macOS. To install Heroic, you need to go into desktop mode and download it from the Dolphin application browser. Once you have Heroic installed, you can download Rocket League and even have Heroic launch Bakkesmod in tandem. To install Bakkesmod, I follow this guide from 17 Dark Lord. The biggest thing to remember if you're doing this method is to disable safe mode in Bakkesmod, or else it won't inject into the game. In my experience, I've been able to get the best performance out of the Steam Deck when I set Rocket League and Heroic to Proton Experimental and launch the game via game mode instead of desktop mode. To access your non-Steam games in game mode, you need to add the Heroic launcher to your Steam library as a non-Steam game in desktop mode before you go back to game mode. It's a little complicated, but this is the best way I've been able to run the game. One glitch that I have not been able to fix though is I have to play the tutorial every time I launch the game, and my Bakkesmod preferences reset every time I close the game. Other than that, I have access to all the features I get on my desktop PC, but on this handheld device. When you're in desktop mode, you have access to 1080p and higher resolutions. But for whatever reason, the game doesn't recognize my DualSense. If I'm in game mode, I can easily reorder the controller via controller settings, but my resolution is capped at 720. On this 1440p monitor, it was honestly not too distracting playing at a lower resolution, and I got used to it pretty quickly. For me personally, I'd rather play at a higher frame rate than at a higher resolution. Here are my settings for the Steam Deck. I usually try to keep my render quality at high quality and the render detail at performance. As long as your render quality is on high quality, it won't make the game look like a potato. And yes, we're able to get some really good frame rates when we're at 720p. I was getting around 120 to 130 FPS when I was playing online. Here is a fully functional Rocket League device with all the additions of Bakkesmod. I travel a lot for work, and just the thought of being able to train on a long flight to kill time is next level. In handheld, for me, my mechanics are trash. I have to focus more on my ground game. Air dribbling is impossible for me. And this will also translate in my training. I will primarily run Dribble Overhaul 2, Hornet's Nest, and practice flicks in free play. In docked mode, I'm using the official dock from Valve, which will cost you around $80, which is steep, but it does come with an extra power brick. In the Steam Deck menus, the system is running at a buttery smooth 120Hz at 1440p. In handheld, my display is capped at 60Hz, but if you purchase the OLED version, you get a 90Hz display. To access Bakkesmod in handheld without a keyboard, I have the F2 function keybound to my back button, and then by holding the Steam button and using the Steam Deck's trackpad, I can navigate the menus with the cursor. Warning, in my experience, when I launched the Workshop map loader via Bakkesmod, my frame rate tanks completely. But once I load the map and I wait a couple seconds, it stabilizes. Most of the Workshop maps on the Steam Deck will easily hit the max frame rate I set the game to, which is 144 frames a second. When playing my 1v1 games, I won only one game and then I lost the other 4 by 1 goal. To be fair, that is probably more due to my skill issue and not the device itself. One thing I didn't expect when I was playing some ranked 3v3 games with some friends is I was using Discord on Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck's hardware was not able to handle running the game and Discord simultaneously for long periods of time. I had issues connecting my headset, but most notably, my frame rate would fluctuate so much that it felt unplayable. I had the best success if I just connected to Discord on my phone. I love the Steam Deck, but I would not recommend purchasing one if your goal is to solely play Rocket League competitively with it. Number 1, the setup is too long and arduous, and number 2, not being able to voice chat on Discord with friends while playing is probably a no-go for a lot of people. If you happen to already own a Steam Deck, I highly recommend giving this method a try. I'm not the biggest fan of training, but doing custom maps in handheld mode is just really refreshing. Everyone is different, but I feel like it allows me to stay warm mechanically, especially if I'm away from my desktop setup for long periods of time. But hey look, what's great about the Steam Deck is you can really do whatever you want with it. If you don't like Linux, you can install Windows. Sadly, I'm not that tech savvy enough to do that, but speaking of Windows, that brings us to our next handheld. The ROG Ally Z1 Extreme. Special thanks to my Rocket League duo Biggles for lending me his ROG Ally for this video. In comparison to the Steam Deck, because the ROG Ally was built around Windows, the moment you place it in a dock, it's a Windows desktop, with all the good and the bad. You can easily download the Epic Launcher and Bakkesmod, and thank God I did not come across the tutorial glitch on the ROG Ally. It remembers my Bakkesmod settings, and everything works as expected. For the ROG Ally, docking is also straightforward. He has the JSOX dock, which costs around $60 to $85. The official ROG Ally dock is also around the same price, but I've seen it on sale for $29.99. It does come with some limited amount of ports, so I would recommend the JSOX. The performance was fantastic. In docked mode, I was able to play Rocket League easily at a 1080p Full HD, 120 frames per second. These are my settings. I genuinely forgot that I was playing on this tiny handheld. In my ranked 1 games, I won 2 and lost the next 3. So better than the Steam Deck, but not by much. Compared to my desktop PC, this felt the closest to it. In handheld mode, I found playing Rocket League on the Asus ROG Ally to be great. It's got a 120Hz 1080p display, it looks fantastic. But sadly, the UI is not as intuitive as I would like it to be. Windows is not really well designed for portable devices, and trying to navigate through Bakkesmod when playing handheld just felt very janky. I tried to assign the F2 function to my back button like I did with the Steam Deck, but it just wouldn't work. The only way I could get the Bakkes menu to come up was by swiping at the bottom of the screen to get the taskbar, click the keyboard, which brings up a digital keyboard, and then pressing F2. Quitting out of Bakkesmod is also a chore, as the device has a hard time registering my fat fingers. You can tell really quickly how easy this would have been if I just physically attached a keyboard and mouse. I have to say, this made me appreciate how well designed the software of the Steam Deck is for portable usage. In conclusion, For anyone serious about ranking in Rocket League, the ROG Ally is the clear winner. Rocket League runs fantastically on the Ally, whether it's in handheld or docked mode. By tweaking a couple graphics settings, you can easily run the game at 1080p at 120 frames per second. And with frequent sales or open box deals at Best Buy, you can snag this device for as low as $500. With it being a Windows device first, the moment you set up the device, you can download Rocket League from the Epic Games Store and have Bakkesmod up and running in less than 10 minutes. The Steam Deck, while versatile, doesn't quite hold up in this comparison. Getting Rocket League and Bakkesmod installed is not as simple, and the workaround requires a minimum of tech savviness. However, if you already own a Steam Deck, this video hopefully showed you how it can still function as a capable Rocket League desktop machine. Personally, I must say that while filming this video, I was surprised that I found myself gravitating more and more towards the Steam Deck whenever I wanted to play in handheld mode. When I'm traveling, I'm not voice chatting with friends, and I will primarily play some casual games or just focus on training. The Ally's battery is also not the greatest, so it's advised to shut down your Ally whenever you're done using it, kinda like a PC. Windows does not like being in sleep mode, and while the Steam Deck, being more like a console, will not drain its battery if you decide to put it in sleep mode for short breaks. With these advantages, the Steam Deck in handheld is the way to go, and it's the one that I would be taking with me if I'm traveling. Long story short, the ROG Ally is the better desktop, and the Steam Deck is the better handheld. Thanks for watching, and welcome to my channel. This video has been in the making for a long time, and I am beyond excited to share it. If you were looking to purchase a PC handheld as a cheap desktop replacement in order to finally make the move from PlayStation or Xbox, hopefully this video showed you that these devices can definitely run Rocket League at high frame rates and unlock all the amazing features of Bakkesmod, all for the price of a gaming console. Please give my first video a thumbs up, and hope to see you in the next video. As a bonus, I did play 5 1v1 ranked games on my Series X, and I lost every game.